Okay. Margaritas and moms. Joyce with Macaroni Kid, and I'm so excited to be here today with Alyssa Peek, who is a photographer, among many other things. So welcome to Margaritas and Moms.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, for sure. So tell us a little bit about your background. You have not always been a photographer.
No, I actually started in the fashion industry right out of college, studied marketing at textile and apparel, and worked as a buyer for Ann Taylor, and then in private label for the rest of my career. And then eventually got laid off and had to reinvent myself, as many women today do.
Absolutely.
And men and women, actually. And I wanted to do something that was my passion. And photography is really my passion. And I get up every single day doing what I love. And it's a great feeling.
It's awesome. So I know you do a lot of art-focused photography, the kinds of beautiful things that hang on people's walls.
Yes.
And you have a website where you show that work and sell that work and work with some interior designers and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so I took another passion of mine is art. And I really love abstract expressionism. And so I take my love of photography and combine my love of abstract art and combine them in one medium. So it's unique pieces of landscapes and Peek Photo Art is that business.
They're landscapes, but they're different.
They're landscapes, but they're modern art.
Yeah.
The photography is almost the canvas, and then I paint on top of it digitally. And so sometimes it's done in camera, sometimes it's a mix of just digital with the photos. It's a whole mix, and I don't do one thing. I'm just inspired by what I see, and then use that as my ground to build upon.
So in addition to your art photography,
Yes.
which is beautiful, I've seen
Thank
it, you like to photograph women.
I do. I really have a passion for helping women change the perspective on how they see themselves.
So I had told a couple of my friends that we had met and became friends, and that I was going to interview you for Macaroni Kid TV this week. And without fail, every woman I talk to or I mention having pictures of themselves taken, everyone has something self-deprecating to say or something negative to say about that.
Yeah.
And I think that's terrible. Do you find that?
I do find that, and so that's why I really focus on women over 40. I think it's, first of all,
and we thank you for that.
It's just playing. It's not playing. It's really talking to their mindset. So when I walk into a room, and if I were to walk into a room and said, I'm a photographer, and I take pictures of women, and left it at that, they would come up with, like you said, every reason why they weren't thin enough, young enough,
Double chins,
gray hair, wrinkles, crow's feet, every excuse under the book.
And we pretty much all have them. If you're over 40, you
it's,
got something.
It's natural. So what I do is I walk in and say, I'm a photographer for women over 40, and it's amazing what happens. They say, I'm over 40, I qualify. So all of a sudden, they're excited to get their picture taken because now they actually fit into this, they qualify to be a client.
So do you think part of then the problem is driven by the fact that we have this perception that only young, perfect, photoshopped, airbrushed, perfect women are somehow, this is horrible to say, but are somehow worthy of being photographed?
Yeah, I think that's what the magazines show us. These beautiful girls, because they're girls, they're not women over 40 usually, and we have this image of what it's supposed to be look like, because they think of a model. And I am clear to say, like, I do not photograph models. I am a photographer for the everyday natural woman. Modeling's a different thing. And to compare yourself, it's like you're a chef or you're a gourmet chef. Like, we all cook, and our food is great. Do we cook?
My food is not so great.
But you can't always compare yourself to the top of the top of the top, which is the models, right? You have to just compare yourself and be a natural woman. And the women over 40 who are out there who are busy moms, that being one section, and trying to make a living and reinventing themselves, like I had to reinvent myself. And so what happens is they need to put themselves in front of the camera because they are the face of their business most likely, right? So they're running these.
And their face, sorry to cut you off, but
Yeah.
and the face of their family. So one of the things,
Yeah.
and we were talking about this before we started, I always see, it's always the mom who's taking pictures of the family, and I am that person who always will say, oh, you should be in the picture, you should be in the picture. But so many moms look back at their family experiences and it's like they weren't there because they're always the photographer.
Yeah, in fact, I had this one client, when I was taking her picture, she goes, oh my God, I'm so not used to this because I'm always the mom behind the camera. And it's true, moms have to realize photography is about documentation and history. And I think that's part of the reason why I love it so much is that I love documentation of a person's life. And if you're going to look back and not have pictures of you during all these stages of your life, forget your kid's life. You have your kid's graduation, this graduation, that. What about how you're changing and how you're evolving every 5 to 10 years, let's say? You're a different person.
And what about, not to be morbid about it, but what about your kids will want pictures of you? You've got to be thinking about that legacy a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that moms don't do that. They are always so into their kids and capturing every movement of their children.
But I also think one of the reasons they're not into it is they don't want to be in front of the camera because they're so self-critical. I don't know how we change that.
So what I do is I specialize in women.
Do you ever shoot men? I have to ask.
I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely do photograph men. I've done financial firms and law firms, and I do men. I just don't advertise to them. I don't market to them. I really want to be a safe place for women to come to feel that I'm going to take care of them. And that's what's really important to me. Like, the men can find another photographer,
right.
But the women, some women tell me like they've gone to other photographers and other photographers just assume they know how to pose or assume they know how to look good in photos. And what I do at the beginning of my sessions is I teach you, which I'll share with you later as some tips on, if you first have to understand how the camera works. And if you understand how the camera works and why you're going to look thinner or not so thin.
Oh, you're going to teach us how to look thinner? I'm so excited.
I really am. And this is what I teach my clients because I want them to not only look good in my photos, I want them to look good in their photos.
Right.
And so I teach them that. I really want the women to get over their fear of being photographed. And I try to make it fun. And like yesterday, I photographed this mom. She had no pictures of herself online anywhere as I searched. And yet she owns her own business and she's trying to get sales. And how do you attract business these days without being your own face of your business and personal brand?
And I think there's that piece of it too, is there's a shyness or I don't want to be that person who's posing for pictures.
So I had another client who actually on her 40th birthday, we had done her shoot. I think it was her 40th or 45th, I can't remember. It was a big birthday for her. And she wrote about that. She goes, I'm posting these pictures and I'm scared you, the reader, are going to say, who do you think you are?
Yes, exactly.
That you're standing in a power pose. She goes, but I am a confident woman and I want you to know that I'm a confident woman because even though I'm running around in my gym clothes all day, running around with my kids, this is also who I am and I'm proud of it. And she wrote this whole post. It was beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah.
So let's get to some tips.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's take a sip and then I'll...
Sure. Okay, so you're going to share a couple of tips with us, yeah?
Yes.
All right, how to look better in pictures and feel more confident.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you got?
The first thing to understand is that the camera works in geometric planes. So if my hands are on the same plane and this hand moves back, this hand appears larger, right?
Right.
So most people, when they're getting their picture taken, because they see this big lens in front of them, their natural reaction is to go like this. And when you go like this, the camera is going to, like I said, whatever hits first is going to be larger. The camera is going to get here, and the belly, and the breast, and then the face, because your body is projected this way.
Okay, you actually do look a little bigger like that.
Right. So now if I stand up straight, and I put myself on the same plane, I'm in proportion.
Okay, your entire torso just got 25% narrower.
Yeah. The other thing what happens is because people go like this, they go like this. This is the natural. I say cheese, they go like this. And so not only do you get this happening, but then your neck raises up and we see your chin. And then your eyes get squinty. Do you see that?
Yeah.
But if I stand up again and I look at you straight on, you don't see my neck like that and my eyes are bigger. Does that make sense? So that's just 101. The other thing is, if this is the widest I could possibly be, all you do is stand 45 degrees to the camera, and now I'm this wide.
You got thinner again. It's a miracle.
It's amazing, right? So never stand straight to the camera unless you're going to really do one of these, that's fine too. I call it like cover girl shot, where you really hold your waist. The other thing is to realize that if I would put my hands, we call this the merger. Now,
so that's my question: is what do you do with your hands?
So if my hands were by my side, and first of all you were looking at me this way, there's no angles going on. It's very square. It's very boxy, and the viewer sees that my body starts here and ends here.
Especially if you're wearing like a black sweater, which is what I'm always wearing.
Especially if I'm wearing long sleeves, right? So imagine I'm wearing long sleeves, even though they kind of know that that's not my waist, they can't see my waist. So that's why you see everyone do this. Now, if you really look at the cover of magazines, what they do, when I say to my clients, put your hands on your waist, this is what they do. They find the widest part.
Right.
Your waist is really here. And then if you really look at the magazines, they go like this. Like, they really make it look like their waist is here. Now, I'm not saying that you should do that, but I'm just saying look at study other pictures and study magazines, but it's important to know where your waist is, because most people think their waist is here, which is
always put my hands on my hips, not my waist.
It's the widest part, and I can say that. I got wide hips. So it's that, and that's really important. I'm going to talk about the double chin.
Oh, please talk about the double
knows.
chin.
So this is going to be really embarrassing, but
If I were to put my face back, I have a double chin, right? You can see it.
You do.
So the whole idea is what I said before about the body. You want to take the plane of your face and the plane of your neck and pull them apart. So you're going to feel like a duck. In photography, they always say, tell your clients to bring her chin forward. But what I find happens is that my clients go like this. Again, this is embarrassing, but they put their chin forward. That is not attractive. And then I say, no, put your head forward, and then they go like this. It's not either one of those. It's about bringing your nose forward. So if you just pull your nose forward about 1/4 of an inch, it just expands the skin here, which will alleviate the appearance of a double chin. And then tilt down. Because if you tilt up, I'm going to see your chin. If you tilt down, forward and down, I always say pretend there's a rod and you're just kind of going up and over the rod. So you need to pull it forward, and what it does is, again, brings your face closer to the camera so it appears larger and your neck appears smaller.
Very interesting. All right, those are some very fabulous tips, many of which I already knew, but the whole my waist and my hips are two different things, that is new to me.
Yeah, and really the how the camera gets you, because even if you were to go like this and I were to take a picture, my elbow would be distorted, because or like this. It's really about, I always tell my clients, pretend there's a piece of glass in front of you, and you really want to have your body on the piece of glass.
So even though you're going to angle a little bit,
not jutting this way, but at least go this way, so everything is in proportion.
Fascinating.
So this is what I teach my clients at the beginning of a session, and then we go through it, and it's like a fashion photo shoot, because it's more than just posing them, it's also getting them to really feel it, and then they start to have fun, and then they start to dance. And these are women who, we do their hair and makeup, and they feel feminine, and they feel like a woman, and that is just as important as having the photo itself for business or for your personal use. It's about the experience of really feeling good in the body that you have today.
So I'm over 40. I own my own business. I'd be a great subject, right?
Absolutely.
I totally want you to take pictures of me.
I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to do it.
So if people want to book you, it's peekphotography.com.
.nyc.
.nyc.
Yes. Or Alyssa@peekphotography.nyc, and you can contact me there. I'm in New York City and in the Hamptons, in the tri-state area, and I would love to work with anyone who is owner of a business or just a mom and over 40 who wants a picture to promote herself, her business, and just feel good in front of, or just want to learn how to feel good in front of the camera.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.